So I hope you've enjoyed your lunch, everybody. We're just gonna have a bit of we're just gonna have some chats right now. So first of all, thank you everyone for coming. This is, again, very, very special time for us all. I think that the last time I saw everyone here was when we were celebrating my parents' 60th wedding anniversary. And so I think when I last spoke, I talked a lot about what family means. And so I'm not going to repeat any of that, but I think what it really means is that we all have very memorable moments. And this is another one of them, that we're really fortunate enough to sort of have a collective collection of memorable moments. And so I'm not going to be actually doing the talking this time. What we thought we would do was to start it off with, and I think you heard a bit from Andrew, and we thought what we would do is we would actually invite each of the grandchildren to just share a few thoughts about their grandparents. And just to remind you, we're here for a birthday celebration. We're here to celebrate my father's 90th birthday and my mom's 80th birthday. And I just want to share with you that I live in Toronto, and so speaking with colleagues and friends there, I'm always showing pictures of my family and pictures of my parents. And one of the comments that I get all the time is, oh my God, I can't believe your parents. I sort of say, there's my dad, and my dad he's 90, and my mom's 85, and they look at us like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. And now it's starting to make me feel really good. I'm so happy. Because I think,
hope to get the genes.
because one, I'm hoping to get the genes, and then the other thing is, I've had someone just say it just last week. They said like, your parents are that old? They must have had you when they were old. I just kind of go, they probably did. So it allows me to share that with friends and colleagues, and I don't really have to respond. I just smile and kind of go, So there is no speech for me this year. And as I said, it is really, I really truly believe that life is all about having memorable moments and being able to share these things with people that you care about. And when we organized this luncheon, Mom and Dad were very, we just said, you know what, invite the people that you want to enjoy this time with. So we're glad that you were able to join us. And we're going to start, I'm going to sort of be a bit of an MC. But we're going to start with Michael. Michael is the eldest grandchild. And Michael is going to come up here, he's going to spend a few minutes. And it doesn't have, the other thing is, I want to let you all know, that I said, you know what, it doesn't have to be long. It just has to be something that you want to share with the guests about your grandparents. And that's really the only direction that we said. Just what's special to you about your grandparents? Michael is the eldest son of Galen and Kim.
Okay, hi everybody. Well, I was supposed to talk about memories, but my brother actually took one of the big memories, because like the trucker hat was something I always remembered from Yugonville. And I don't know, that's always stuck with me. So originally I was going to do something about that, but I decided, well, I can't do that anymore. So the thing I remember most about both of you is you've always instilled so much values for family. You've always said the family's always going to be there for you. You can always ask family for everything. And well, you guys all know I was not the easiest kid. Let's put it that way.
We all agree.
Yeah. Okay, I fully admit I was a brat. Okay?
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. So, and my point is, I did have some tough times. Everyone knows that, from my eczema to even going through university and all that. And all the family was always there for me. And I always knew from the beginning, Bob and Boone, you've always said you value family so much. And without that, I don't know where I would be without those values. I'm now in Toronto. I kind of be able to keep up the legacy. Like, I'm an engineer, I'm an electrical engineer too, and I know that makes you proud. And just me being there and being able to have a happy life, and just all the family support behind me. And an aunt. But it's all my family. It's from, like, even from Auntie Marla picking me up to even Uncle Larry, Uncle Warren, Uncle Doug when I was here in Vancouver, just anything. I know that always came from you guys. that's the most memorable thing I have from you guys. So I just want to say happy birthday and thank you very much for everything.
Thank you, Michael. So the next up, I'm going to introduce Stephanie. Stephanie is Michael's sister, and Stephanie's also known as Tess. She's going to share her memories and share something nice.
Okay, so I was going to school for the last 5 years in Montreal at Concordia University, and I moved out to like Toronto and Montreal as a way to like get away from my family because I needed to find who I was. So I moved to Toronto for a year, and Auntie Marilla was very nice and helped me for a month. Well, in your house, a long time. You let me stay in your basement. And then when I finished school in Montreal, I had a choice of either staying in Montreal or coming back to Vancouver, Victoria. And I decided to come back to the West Coast because I wanted to be closer to my family. So I just moved back to Vancouver, well, Victoria in June, July, and August I was in Victoria. And then I came back to Vancouver. And one of the things that I found about being closer to Popo and Gungong is that instead of only seeing them twice or maybe 3 times a year, depending if there's like somebody's birthday and I'm flown back in May. That one of the things about being on the West Coast is that, and living in Vancouver, is that I can come home a lot more often. So I usually come home instead of like twice a year. Now I come home like, I guess once a month maybe, once every 2 months or something. And the thing about going back to Victoria when my parents are there is that Popo and Gongong's house is really warm. So I don't have to warm as a heat. And very welcoming because Popo always has her like leftover soup, and she always has food and dinner time, and she's home a lot. Because my house is sort of cold a lot.
That's the engineer part, you know. Engineer.
Save energy.
Save energy, you know.
Support BC Hydro.
BC Hydro rates.
So I really like coming back to Popo and Gongong's house because it's warm. But they don't have internet, so I guess I have to read books a lot. Let's see. I guess recently, Popo, my mom and I went for a walk, and that was really nice. And Popo is also the fastest walker. Because I've always been slow, and I don't think I'll be ever a fast walker, but I was very surprised at how fast Popo walks. And yeah, I think one of the earliest memories is I remember I was stayed over when I was like, I don't know, I think I was 8 or something, and I was sleeping in your guys' like separate bedroom, and then there was this big spider that came. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
There was this huge spider. It was like this big. No. And I was so scared. And I was like, ah! And then I like ran to you or Gongong, and I was like, oh my god, there's a spider in the room. I can't sleep in that bed anymore. And then you killed the spider, and then I couldn't sleep in that room because I was so scared of like spiders coming out. And so that night I remember it was like I slept in your guys' bed, and I slept beside you, but I didn't want to like touch you guys, so I like basically slept like I was on my side. And I remember the next morning you were like, were you there? I didn't hear you move or anything. So yeah, so like the memories that I have when I tell my friends about Popo and Gongong is like Gongong is like he always has bread, the toast and apple in the morning, and he always goes for a walk. Another thing is that I'm really proud of Gongong and his gardening. He's been gardening for 30 years. And Popo, I guess it's Tai Chi and writing letters. Even though I can't, sometimes your writing is really hard to read, but it shows very good penmanship. And you send me cards for like just little things, like I'm going on a big trip, and I really appreciate that. So
Okay.
Thank you.
happy birthday! Happy birthday, Mom.
Oh, thank you, very good, thank you.
Happy birthday, Papa.
So next in line in order of seniority is my son Dominic.
We're in for
He majored in drama. Dominic is majoring in drama studies. He's graduated. So Dominic, please come and share your happy birthday thoughts and wishes. Thanks.
So,
He's speechless, I can't.
yeah. That was it. I don't know most of the artists.
Yeah.
But the weird thing about me, I guess, which most of you might not know, I was actually just telling Christine, is I'm not a huge fan of big social gatherings. I mean, as much as I'm a drama studies major, and I do really enjoy acting. At the end of a show, there's always some sort of party for all the cast and the director, the crew, and everyone who's been part of it. And I don't like those. I'm not a people person. I like persons, not people. Is what I say. But things like this, they're not so bad. I like. Yeah, there's a time. Okay.
I know you're winging it.
I know you're
Dominic. Come on.
What I mean to say is that it's nice to have, grandparents. It's nice to have a popo and a gongo. On the other side of my family, I have my grandfather who died before I was born, and my grandmother who's different. And I have instead gongong and popo. And I guess the best example of that is you're two very different people, but two very important people to me, because I can say that, for example, I remember Gong always telling me to cut my hair. It's too long. It's probably still too long. And at the same time, I remember Popo, coming over every summer for a very long time, making pancakes in the morning. And it's this dynamic of very serious, very formal Gong, very principled is the word. And then Popo being very nurturing and very supportive. And it's that combination that I think is really important for me. Just to grow up with that was a very important, very important aspect of my life. And I like being here for that, to be able to celebrate the 85th. And so memories like that are just sort of what keep me going. I have more, but there's a time limit. Maybe I'll tell you all later. But this dinner will be a memory that I can save for the 100th and 95th birthdays. Happy birthday!
You've done well.
The next person we have to share is Dominic's sister, Chloe, my daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And she's going to share something that she had prepared. Chloe?
I think I was the only one who came prepared.
I feel like prepared. Yeah, you see, someone prepares.
Yes, we let them know ahead of time.
When I think of Gong and Popo, I think of the link that ties our family together. But then again, maybe that's just Popo's joke. I remember whenever she made some, everyone would go through hell and high waters to have a bowl. And not only that, but in all seriousness, grandparents are essential in our lives. They represent wisdom and are the carriers of family history. As a collective, they balance each other out, as Dominic said. Gong Gong, strong-willed and cheerful, and Popo, calm and wise. Not only strong in mind, but strong in arm wrestling as well. I remember as a child, I'd always prop myself up on a chair and challenge Gong Gong to arm wrestle. I see a lot of myself in Gong Gong, especially the whole strong-willed part. Not only that, but he's a constant reminder of my Chinese heritage. Growing up, I never thought too deep about my culture. Being conflicted with cultural identity issues because I was half white, I felt like I never quite fit in either culture. Although I do still pride myself on individuality, as I grew older, I began to wonder about my Chinese roots. What does it mean to be Chinese? Is it the red envelopes you get when you're younger? Is it your Chinese name? Is it the disappointment you feel when you get oranges for dessert instead of red bean soup? Or is it just being humble? I realized it is all of these things. That is what Gong Gong has made me realize. That isn't to say I haven't learned anything from Popo. I remember once, we were talking about arthritis pain, and she told me how although it prevented her from doing certain things she loved doing, she learned to enjoy other things. You just learn to accept it, she said. And since then, that piece of advice has stuck with me. Both of them have been a big influence on my life and continue to be so. And I know as I grow older and older, I'll carry more of them with me. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank
That's very good.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we have Patrick, who is Doug and Tom's son, Andrew's brother, and Andrew's brother.
So, hi. So, first of all, happy birthday to you, Naina and Yeye. Congratulations on your 90th and your 85th birthday. So, like Andrew, I just like to talk about some of the fond memories I've had with you two. So, first of all, I remember that always, whenever I went over to Victoria to come over to your house, I was actually always looking forward to breakfast. Because like most of the kids, I really love the pancakes and the porridge. Like, I would really want to get the porridge because I thought it tasted so good. And I'd actually have to wake up earlier than normal. And normally, I would always sleep past noon because that's just what I do. But it was worth it because the food was so good. I also remember downstairs where I would always sleep with whenever my dad and mom came and my brother Andrew, that on the couch bed, I would sometimes when I was younger, I would actually make a fort out of some of the mattresses. And then I would always do it in that small area behind the couch. And yeah, that was just a fond memory of what I used to do when I was smaller. And I also remember going to China with you guys.
Yeah.
And I thought that the trip was amazing and everything went really well. And it was really enjoyable, but it was also extremely hot. And I always thought that like I would die in the heat because like it was steaming. You guys kept on going, so I was just like I just thought that was amazing. And I remember this one small detail where when we were traveling, I saw Nainai's shirt, and it was completely white and it had some small like tips all over it. And for some reason, I went up to my mom and Nainai and I was like, "Is your shirt made of cake?" Because I thought it was some kind of cake shirt, but then I realized it was just a shirt. And then those are my fond memories, and I just want to thank you guys all for coming to this celebration, and I love you guys.
Very good. Okay, very good.
I love you too.
Okay. So who else would like to, we've got some other grandchildren, I don't know what more. And the other thing is I do want to let everybody know that we didn't, if somebody's shy, they, don't feel comfortable speaking, that's okay. So I'm going to check and sort of see who else would like to come up and say something. Christine?
Sarah wants to.
Alicia or Vanessa, did you want to join us?
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe she doesn't want to.
I think we'll still go in order, right?
Okay, Vanessa, did you want to come up?
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna put up Vanessa, and Vanessa is Larry and Lai Ching's daughter. And you want to do this, sister, or you want to do it by yourself? Okay, okay, so we'll just have Vanessa.
Then I'll.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say happy birthday to Lydia and Nanai. And thank you for being like the best grandparents in the world, because you're so nice and loving and caring. And you always have like something to offer and make us feel comfortable. And you're so like, it's indescribable because you always like show so much love and stuff and passion towards what you do. And I think it's what makes you like such great people. So I want to thank you for that. And happy birthday.
That's good, that's really good, Vanessa.
And Christine, do you want to join us as well, Christine?
Christine.
So we've got Christine, and Christine is Warren and Hong-Yu's daughter, and she's going to share something.
So this wasn't really prepared because I had no idea I was going to share something until now, really, well, this luncheon. And so I wrote a little list because when I'm on stage, my memory goes blank. So, especially when I don't practice. So I have a list, and I'd like to share a few things that I remember and a few things that are happening now. So first on my list is letters. Like, all the time I will send letters to Mama, and she'll send letters back. All the time. I have a whole stack full of letters that she sent me, and I just love the experience. I know nowadays people are like, oh, you write letters, and then like, what are letters, right? Because the only thing you get now in the mail is bills, right?
Junk mail.
And you feel like whenever you get a letter, you feel so happy, right? So that's why I wanted to bring a bit of that back, and I decided Mama was a perfect person to send letters to. So that's why I wrote letters. And I also have knitting. That's another thing I brought back, or Mama helped me bring back from the past. She helped me knit, and then it was just such a big part of my life now, right? So at school, I started a knitting club. Everybody, like in the newspaper, I remember reading that knitting is coming back, and I feel like I'm glad to be a part of it. And that's another thing that's from the past that Mama really helped me with. And another thing I remember is every single time I go to Mama and Yeye's house, I always see Yeye gardening. His garden is just so amazing. I wish I had a garden like that. It's just so amazing. He gardens, and it's amazing for someone his age, right? Like, a garden like that. But honestly, if I lived to be 90, I don't know if my back could stand that. So, that's all what I always remember about Yeye. Whenever I go to their house is gardening, and that's what I love about gardening and nature. That's what brought me closer to nature. Another thing about Yeye is every time I see him, he gives me big hugs. I just love his hugs. They're just so big and warm. Right? They're tight, they're warm, right? And then I'm just going to share, the last thing I'm going to share is just a memory. I remember on the boat, like this just shows how much Mama cares, and Yeye, they care for me so much, right? On the boat, I remember there was a ferry coming back home. I felt sick, and I was sick. I threw up in the car, and then I know Mama remembers it right now. She's laughing. It was a very bad experience, but it just shows how much they care. I remember I was panicky, right? So, and Mama, she helped me throughout the whole thing. She was calm, she helped me clean up, right? She was just there, right? So, thank you.
Thank you, Christine.
a little sweet. I love you so much. What about Sarah?
And you see, for us, we've got Sarah here. Sarah is Christine's sister.
Oh, she wants to say something.
Oh.
Sarah wants to say something to
Wow.
you. And Sarah also is Warren and Holding's daughter. So all goes over to you, Sarah. We have to listen.
Happy birthday, Mama. I really, really like you because you are my daddy's daddy and my daddy's mom. And last time I remember that we had a bubble bath. And I remembered when you knit to get a big comfy scarf and you were so warm.
Comfy scarf.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And we went to the beach and I remembered when I get my feet all wet.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were at the beach and then you sprayed water on my feet with a hose.
Oh, water on your feet. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we go, and then I really like it when Yaya gardens, and I think I remembered him gardening pumpkins
Oh, yes.
and vegetables to eat like carrots.
Yeah.
And I really like it when Mama and Yaya has a really big anniversary and it's with a lot of people and we really get to enjoy it. Happy birthday, Mama.
Oh, that's really good. Thank you very much.
You remembered your bubble bath, right?
Absolutely, I needed a note, I needed to be there.
Very good. Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah, so that's it, and thank you to all the grandchildren for sharing their thoughts. Happy birthday to Mom and Dad. What we're going to do is we're going to serve dessert and coffee, and also a reminder that if you haven't signed this picture, please do so.